It's a barren, barren wasteland, let me tell you.
They're all going to be banged up. They're all going to be rested.
This is the biggest week of these players' lives.
I thought they were going to get the double. I thought three-peat was on.
Game on. Patriots can steal it all.
I don't know if you can actually see behind me, but it looks like I'm on the surface of the sun. Welcome back to the Early Hours podcast, where it is a San Francisco Super Bowl 60 week special. Try saying that one 5 times fast. If you're watching the vodcast, you can see behind me a very blown out San Francisco city skyline. We had a lovely sunrise about 30 minutes ago. We just couldn't get our act together. Guys, before we start the episode, I want to cast your mind back to the regular season, week 1, if you can recall. The Chargers played the Chiefs in Sao Paulo, but more importantly, we locked in our Super Bowl predictions, and now it's time to reveal how far off we were. I have got the piece of paper here, travelled all the way from Brazil back to Leeds, and now it's here in the States. Who wants to go first?
First of all, right, I cannot believe we're here in the Super Bowl. You saying Brazil there is like it's the Walking
It's a
Dead
lifetime
where,
away.
Yeah, where you look over at your pal, you know, great, it's game 1, man, and then literally you blink. I'll go first. First.
Before I say this, if anyone called these two teams, the Patriots or the Seahawks, you know, they didn't even make the playoffs last season, then fair play. Oliver, kick us off.
I went to make the Super Bowl.
I'm so excited.
The Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
Look, controversially, they're a team that won their division last year. They are a team that made it to the divisional round. They just got blown out by the Commanders, which no one expected. I just looked at it, I thought, I don't see that happening this time around, and the Commanders were nowhere, so that was kind of true. I don't know, I just thought Ben Johnson moving on, they had enough pieces if they brought a new OC in to keep the stability. The reality, however, was the OC just didn't work. They didn't really have any structure. They completely bottomed out. And if it wasn't for the Vikings, they would have been, quite shown up, I think, in the division this year. Yeah, that was mine. The Lions, Detroit Lions. Who knew?
Sorry, who's the AFC team?
Oh, did we need the AFC team as well?
I mean, we're the Super Bowl.
They're actually the Super Bowl on their own, aren't they,
have you sat on this for 18 weeks and not... It's all right. It's cooked. I think it's cooked, bro. So what? You just thought the Lions would go all the way? Is that the narrative?
Oh man, the Lions were just going to kick Sam.
It's a bye week in the Super Bowl. Have you
Yeah,
ever heard of one?
Yeah, that's it.
They're that good. They just didn't need to play in the Super Bowl. They'd already
Correct.
won.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
Detroit or bust for me, clearly.
Fine. Smales, who have you got?
All I can say is ball dropped. For me, I mean, I was very incorrect. Did I have 2 teams though? Yes, so I win that round.
Nice.
I actually went for, I won't tell you 2 specifically, great last year, new offensive coordinator, didn't work, dreadful going forward. It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh,
I rate it.
I went for the
really rate
Eagles. They were so strong last year, obviously blew the Chiefs out and brought back pretty much every piece they needed this year to make another strong run. And they started pretty well, but just the offensive woes, not good enough. Won the division essentially by default because no one else was any good in there. And then obviously got beat in the wildcard round, which, we just love to see. So that was my NFC team, who I actually backed to win, hence the green. And my AFC team, I went the Bills, who again,
Nice.
I think a lot of us were kind of half supporting on that side of the board. Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, not the best cast around him, but yeah, we were hopeful that the Bills could probably go one step further, which again for a lot of the season looked quite possible, but again just couldn't quite get it over the line, which is unfortunately just the how Josh Allen's career is going, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I really rate the Eagles shot. I've said it a few times this season on this podcast. I thought they were actually going to go all the way. I thought they were going to get the double. I thought three-peat was on, let alone getting it this year.
Saquon Barkley was never running it back, boys. We know the history of 2,000-yard running backs. Come on.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley was never running it back. You were never writing an AFC team on your piece of paper. For me,
really botched this.
For me, I'm just going to show you first. Look, I just want you to think that both of these teams did make the playoffs, so we're strong there. But it is the hope that kills you. It's the Bills versus the Packers.
Ah, interesting.
I did think it was our year. If Micah Parsons didn't crash out, if we weren't too lucky on a few of our other injuries, and if Josh Allen didn't just completely lose the plot in the playoffs, then I think that could have happened, and I think that would have actually been quite an exciting and fun Super Bowl. But look, there is always next year. Right, I'll say it again. It's probably wearing thin, guys. I am in the States. I've got something for you as part of our impromptu bev check. Here is a Starbucks large venti latte. We lived off these when we were here a couple of months ago. This has got like...
What a throwback.
I think it's a couple of scoops of protein in it as well. I don't think they've got them on the menu anymore. She looked at me like I was ordering something from Mars. But there is protein in this, but it's not quite the ones that we liked. But yeah, what else is everyone rocking for their final like preview bev check of the season?
I hate to be that guy, but for me, H2O is the way to go in the UK.
H2O is the way to go. Listen, we can't all be living the life in San Francisco on Super Bowl week, can we?
It's crazy. And it's the EA Sports media party tonight as well. So I'll be living the life there as well. Yeah, no, it is. We're going to EA Sports HQ, play some Madden. Hey, in Vegas, we were in the pit and we played F1 in a sim. That was brilliant. Anyway, look, let's before we get on to why I'm here, which is obviously the Super Bowl, some breaking news was kicked off for Super Bowl week with some good news for global fans with Roger Goodell. He confirmed 9 international games are set to be played next season. They are Rio, Munich, Melbourne, Madrid, which is now entering a new multi-million deal, Paris, which will be the first regular season game in France with New Orleans Saints. They're the ambassador team there. Mexico City, which is a December game, that's kind of breaking some boundaries, and 3 London games, which is obviously great news for us. But with all of these locations confirmed, of course, it came with some casualties, and Dublin misses out. Which one are you most excited to see next season, and which one do you think or you wish would have made the cut?
I'll kick us off. I'm excited to see this whole new multi-year deal in the Bernabeu and Madrid, and I'm excited to see that grow and see how they expand. The stadium was one of the best outfits reportedly last year for hosting a game, and I think there's so much possibility over there. So that's really cool. I think there's from a brand and marketing sort of perspective, there's a few key teams that are already sort of set up out there and well positioned. I think it's the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Bears, interestingly enough. So one to watch for designated home teams. So yeah, I'm going to go with Madrid. I think there's loads of potential there.
First off, I think you've again taken the easy route there, similar to what we did last week. I mean, the Bernabeu, the amount of money they've put into that, I think it was about 2 billion euros just on renovations. So it's probably, a good place to hold the games stadium wise. It can kind of stack up to what we see in the US with SoFi and a few of the newer stadiums. Also with the Spanish, I mean, we know the Spanish are sort of sport mad, possibly not your typical NFL fans. They're not big rugby fans, similar to what, you see in some of the other countries, hence, UK, Ireland, places like that. But I think it's a good market to go out. We know the Spanish are sport crazy. I think obviously the big one today, or the last couple of days, is Paris, with Saints being sort of the team they want to grow there. If I'm really honest, I'm super excited for the Saints and against the Cleveland Browns in Paris to kick it off.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if it's the Browns yet. We don't know if it's the Browns. It is only just rumored.
But if it is, for me, most importantly and excitingly for me, not that we're going to go see it because it's the least accessible, it would be Melbourne for me. Tapping into that Australian market, rugby league is their biggest game, league and union, plus Aussie rules as well. I think the market in Australia for them is absolutely huge.
And the Rams already confirmed as the designated home team back in the summer. So that was, that was huge news at the start. We actually got that news in the last international update. So yeah, that's a huge growing market, and they've been crying out for games over there. I know we know of actually Goody knows him as well. A guy, Andy Wilson, big Scot. From living up in my days in Edinburgh, and he's got family over in Australia. They're big Rams fans, and the Rams have got a huge following out there. So crying out for games. Look, the brunt of it is 9 games. It's a great slate. Shame for Dublin. Huge shame after the success of the fixture last year. But what an amazing time to be watching NFL, man.
Yeah, exactly. 9, it does sound like a lot of games, but when you put it into context with the regular season, that is half of the regular season. We play 18 weeks of regular season football, and 9 of them will be in international games. So Roger Goodell is continuing to, double down on his promise. And like I think you just touched upon there, Oliver. Yeah, when Melbourne was announced this time last year, so Super Bowl week kicking off with some breaking news for the international games. It's becoming quite a routine now, and we're excited to see where it goes in the future. But speaking of Super Bowl week, guys, it's the Seahawks at the Patriots. Well, it's the Seahawks versus the Patriots, really. The Patriots are the designated home team officially. We'll get onto that later. But yeah, this is the big one. This is what all season has led up to. The Patriots will face off against the Seahawks at Levi's Stadium, or Lumen Field South, as it's now being branded. No nibbles there. We can get into the stats shortly, but just on feeling alone, who have you got?
To be honest with you, I've sort of been thinking about this since we last recorded. I think the betting favourites and my favourites will probably be the Seahawks, but I just don't think you can count the Patriots out. I mean, we've said all year about the schedule, but, they've beat the vast majority of the teams put in front of them. And look, the playoff run hasn't been easy. So, they just seem to outperform everything that's put in front of them. And whilst they haven't been spectacular, again, they are point scoring machines, whether it's against, a lesser defense or not, they've still got to put up there. They're making the yards, the time of possession's well up there. So yeah, I think they need to do a little bit more probably to put Sam Darnold under pressure, because their, sack rate isn't the best. But if they can, try and lock Sam down and, limit the run game and make Sam Darnold throw the ball whilst putting him under pressure, because yeah, that's what you need to shut down. But I'm going to go the Seahawks, but I'm struggling to count out the Patriots.
I agree. I think the Patriots have. Do you know what? The bookies have made life easy for the Patriots throughout Radio Row, throughout the build-up, throughout all of it, really, because the pressure's off almost. They're here on house money. Vrabel is his first year with the Patriots. Drake Maye is only in his second year at the age of 23. They've made it, really, with a vet in Stephon Diggs and a rookie in Henderson and a few other pieces, and Hunter Henry, who's, a good tight end, but not a great tight end. I just think the pressure's off. I could see the Patriots winning it. I think they've got all the pieces to do it, and the interior line on the defense is capable of stopping Kenneth Walker. But yeah, I agree. I've got to stick with the Seahawks. They're the betting favourites for a reason. They've done it all year. They've stopped teams like the Rams, the Niners. Seahawks.
I think it's the Seahawks for me as well. But it's interesting that you say the pressure's off of the Patriots. I agree. Drake Maye was relatively calm and collected during opening night this week. And Sam Darnold, he's been in the league longer. I think there's more for him to lose, and there's everything for Drake Maye to gain. Plus, when you look at the Patriots last season, well, neither of them made the playoffs, but especially when you look at the Patriots, what a turnaround. I just think they're happy to be here, really. So why not just go out and give it their all? But yeah, speaking of Super Bowl week, guys, what a week. It's crazy. I do forget how crazy it is. And one day I really hope you can experience this, because I haven't stopped since touching down in the Bay, but it is always good fun. That intense schedule, though, is the same for the players. How do you think that plays a part, do you reckon? Because, you've got two quarterbacks here that are relatively new to all of this media attention. And don't forget, the Patriots have had to fly across the country when the Seahawks have really only just nipped down the road. I mean, I'm still feeling it after flying across the Atlantic in economy. I reckon these guys will be at least in first class, but it does take its toll.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up there. I think it's that disruption, isn't it? It's the lack of preparation that they would usually get. It's that whole, the glitz and the glam of it all, and the media. And I say the media, we've got one of our very own. So it might be nice to hear it from you, how you feel that experience when you're in there and you're hearing, all the questions flying at the players, and it's a lot. Football becomes a sort of afterthought when you're getting asked about what they think of Madrid and what they think of, well, would you, JSN, you've been to the Bernabeu before. Would you like to play? Hold on. This is the biggest week of these players' lives. They've played their entire careers for this moment, and it does, like we said, become a bit of an afterthought. So what is the atmosphere like in there?
Oh mate, it's they're actually pretty calm and collective. They're not showing that many signs of tiring. I'll ask JSN today. Actually, I've got a one-on-one with him, so I'll see how he's feeling. I'll see what his morning routine is on the road. But they are used to travelling for away games every other week, so it's not too dissimilar for them to wake up in hotel rooms. But it is that media attention they've got. It's a whole festival really. They're training in different places as well for longer, and like you say, they've got more media obligations to fulfill, so it is quite hectic.
Sponsor
and it's harder
as well.
Exactly, it's harder to focus on the game, and like you say, it's the biggest game of some of these players' careers, so it is difficult for them, and I do think it will take its toll. Scott Hansen as well, he asked Drake Maye at opening night about his shoulder injury, and Drake, he just gave a very coy, calm and short response. He just said it's fine.
Yeah, there is mentions on that, and whether it's more serious or whether it's not, there's no doubt he will play. But yeah, the games have begun, and they know exactly what they're doing, don't they? They know what they're doing. They're not going to give anything away. We're not going to have a Jarrett Stidham situation on our hands. Put it that way.
I think you'll struggle to find a player out there who is fully fit, though. To be fair,
of course.
And like you say, the games have become who do the Seahawks have to prepare for? You have to prepare for more than one guy now, but yeah. They're all going to be banged up. They're all going to be rested. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, the games are well and truly become. It's what we love to see every year, isn't it?
What I think is really interesting as well, like I say, New England, they are technically the home team here going into this matchup. They actually had the option to choose which jersey colour they opted for. And Vrabel, he opted for the away strip. He made a joke, actually, on Monday. He said that it's because white is slimming. But why do you think they opted for this colourway?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? They're just waiting and hoping for more snow like the championship round, and then they'll blend in their disguise. Would that not be the most Patriots thing this season, for it to snow and them not be them literally be ghosts on the field?
I don't know if you can actually see behind me, but it looks like I'm on the surface of the sun. So I don't think snow's forecast actually this week. But yeah, I think there's also a mention. I mean, the white colourway is technically their away jersey, and the Patriots undefeated on the road this season as well, 9-0. So do you think that plays a part? Is it more of a confidence and mentality game?
I think they'll probably say it's not, but I do say it is a small factor. I do think there are small superstitions within teams about these sort of things. And if you get the choice, why does it hurt? And let's not forget, I mean, they look pretty good in the white kit, don't they? Especially with the Super Bowl badge printed on properly, not by Fanatics, may I add. But yeah, it looks good when it's all in the same place.
And also Brady played in the white as well in 49, so that's interesting. There's all these things. I do think it gets in your head, and equally, is that them putting that back on the Seahawks and saying, oh well, we're going to play in our way. Think about that for a second. It's your home game. The pressure's on you here. It's all these things. You're the one seed. It's just reminding them as much as possible that they've got nothing to lose. And all of a sudden, you go a score or two up, game on. Patriots can steal it all.
Speaking of Super Bowl 49, there's been an influx of questions. I heard people ask Mike McDonald. I heard people ask Sam Darnold this same question. They actually, towards the end of the media availability, said, guys, I can't keep answering this question, but it is funny. They basically said what we alluded to earlier this week. And they were just saying, Coach, if you've got 25 seconds left on the play clock and you need a touchdown to win the game and you only need a yard, what are you doing? Are you passing? Are you throwing the ball or are you running it? And yeah, that is definitely a theme here. Everyone is talking about those comparisons. So I think we've definitely done the right thing and covered it on the Early Hours podcast as well. To round out the game then, guys, Sunday is it's approaching relatively quickly, but don't wish it away because once it's gone, it is one long off season. But I'd love to know, where are you watching the game? You know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in Levi's in Santa Clara. I'm incredibly fortunate to watch it there in that regard. But what about yourselves? What do you have planned?
Yeah, first of all, don't wish that drought on anyone. It's a barren wasteland, let me tell you. I mean, once the draft goes in April time, it really is god awful. But we will be watching the game. We'll be trying to watch as much as we can through your FaceTime, no doubt, and get the feel that we're in the ground.
It's become the annual tradition, actually.
It's an annual tradition, of course, but no. All joking aside, we're both with a group of friends. We're out there. We're watching it in Leeds, in Box in Leeds. So shout out to Box Leeds. Always really hospitable. Always a great atmosphere. Plenty of screens. No excuses to be catching all the excitement, all the key moments in the game, and crucially, we'll be giving some immediate reaction after the game. We'll try and bring a sort of across the America and in the UK, some live reactions. So we'll be banging that up on the old socials afterwards. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That should be fun.
Yeah, that's not the only thing we'll be giving out as well. If you're in Santa Clara or Box, watch out for one of these. It's the Early Hours first edition card. I'm sure everyone's going to want one of those. Just come and see us. And
Requests are already flying in. Requests
yeah, they
are
actually
flying
are.
in. They are. It's off the chain at the minute, this podcast.
Mate, they're really nice. And again, if you're watching the vodcast, it's got a lovely rounded corner, quite like the boxes that we're in at the moment. Don't say we don't care. We've said who we're backing then on this episode. We would love to know who you are backing in the comments ahead of football's biggest game. Remember to keep checking our socials at Early Hours NFL to see what I'm up to here in San Francisco. And we'll catch you next week to reflect on what should be an elite game. We'll see you then.